So without further ado, I am going to introduce Mariah Stolp, Insurance That Breaks the Stigma.
Good evening, everybody. So my name is Mariah Stolp, and we are going to be talking about insurance that breaks the stigma tonight. And when I say the word insurance, most people glaze over, ears tend to go down or turn off completely. But I'm hoping for this part you guys will keep them on for me, because we're not talking about traditional health insurance tonight. We're actually going to be talking about the supplemental side, so supplemental insurance side of things. And supplemental in general has a very broad category, but for our purpose tonight, we're kind of going to narrow it down in respects to things like cancer, heart attack, strokes, and accidents and injuries. So when I talk about those few things, and really the importance is because they're not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's just gotten worse. Things like cancer, 3 out of 4 families will go through it. 1 in 3 women, 1 in 3 men will also go through it. And we all know kids have their battles as well. So things like heart attacks and strokes typically run in people's families. However, every 34 to 40 seconds, somebody will go through an attack or a stroke. And we all know that accidents in the state of Minnesota are bound to happen. It's just not if, but when, hence the weather out here this evening. So we're going to talk about it in respects to that, but really what it comes down to in what supplemental insurance is, it's an additional insurance plan that helps supplement or pay to offset what health insurance does not cover. So the reason this page is so important is the iceberg. And I know we've all heard of the iceberg analogy in different manifests, but truly visualize the top piece is what you see, and the bottom half is what's unbeknownst to you. So when we talk about things like cancer, heart attack, strokes, accidents, and injuries, there are 2 huge costs that are associated with it. And the first is what everybody's pretty familiar with. It's the health insurance side. Those are things that medical, doctor expenses, hospital charges. That is what health insurance is designed to help pay for. And where supplemental pops in, oh, there's a slide missing, but we'll go back to this one. So that bottom half there, that's what supplemental helps offset or protect. And it really is, at its core, is the loss of income. It's the living expenses, things like your mortgage, utilities, car notes. It can be the insurance limitations such as deductibles, co-payments, 80/20. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot that people just don't even think about. If you were to go through something like cancer or a heart problem, do you have to travel to go seek a specialist? Or are you driving over 80 miles down to Rochester? What does that look like for a family? Are they paying for gas, food, lodging while they're away from that homestead? Or childcare. If they have kids and they're going through something like that, it is devastating to watch a parent go back and forth to the hospital. So who's watching the kids? Or is a family member taking off time to do that? But that financial burden doesn't go away. It really just transfers. And then that other family is also missing time off work. And what do their bills look like? So supplemental is designed to help protect kind of that bottom half and really offset the loss in there. And so that's what supplemental is. How it works is when something like that happens, health insurance directly pays those doctor and hospitals, and supplemental will cut a check or a cash benefit directly to that individual so they can use that cash benefit however they need to. So if they have to pay the mortgage, if they have to put food on the table, or maybe they do just need to pay that deductible at that time, that individual or family policyholder, however you want to word it, they're able to use that cash flow however they see fit. And when you're breaking it down a little bit further, so cancer is its own policy, heart is its own, and so is accidents. So within that, you have different levels of coverage. So you maybe have 2 or 4 different coverage levels for cancer, 2 or 4 different coverage levels for heart. And that really is designed to help those families, wherever they're at in life, find something that fits them and their budget and their lifestyle more specifically than the fishbowl. where everybody's in the same category, and 20 bucks over here is very different than how 20 bucks is spent over there. So now that you know what supplemental is, how it works, it just pays you directly, but really who is it for? And the long and short answer for that is literally anyone. If you think about who nowadays could go through something like cancer, who could possibly have a heart attack or a stroke, and again, Minnesota weather, accidents and injuries happen every day. There's over 5,200 disabling accidents every hour. So it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about who this could possibly be for. And we can break it down a little bit further as well. Some of the people it's for are exactly the people in this room, business owners and or their employees, because it can help supplement or bridge the gap in benefit packages. It can help with employee retention. There are a lot of employees out there that are seeking positions who offer more than just health insurance. So having a well-rounded package is extremely important in today's great reorganization. But it's also for blue collar as well as white collar. So those who are working with their hands and on their feet all day. If something happened physically to them, it would devastate their family possibilities. White collar, there's a lot of plans. I mentioned 4 levels. So the possibility that those plans are able to pay out to that income potential is a lot higher in some areas than it is in others. So it's for those individuals as well. It's also for people in their 20s just starting out. They don't have a backup plan in place if something happens. So it's extremely important that they have a fund that they can pull from when the unexpected occurs. But it's also for those folks who are in their 60s or 70s. Medicare right now it's interesting. And you maybe have your A, B, C's, D's, E, F, and G's, but when you're talking about cancer for Medicare, in most plans right now, only 20% is covered. And I was just talking to a gal whose husband battled stage 4 blood cancer. He was right on the cap of Medicare, and after health insurance paid out, they still owed over $370,000 out of their own pocket. She had to liquidate a 401k to help pay for those bills. So it's for people in that situation as well. Married couples, families who have small little kids, and those who have the teenage drivers. You know where I'm going with that. And it's also for people who are having that full benefits package like health insurance, but it's also for people who don't have any insurance. I would say it's like a 60-40 right now. 60% of people have health insurance, 40% still don't. And at that point, everything they go through is a complete out-of-pocket expense. So they're pulling from their savings investments or just right out of their own checking account to help pay for things. And when should you look into supplemental? The big, overlooming, obvious one is if you have a family history, it's probably time to take a look at some of this stuff. If somebody in your immediate family's been through something like cancer or a heart problem, it's probably worth your time to see if there's a plan out there that can help offset what you maybe have to go through if something like that came up for you. But the biggest thing in question that's always asked is if you or your spouse got hurt or sick and you could not physically work for 6 weeks, 6 months, or even longer than that, how would that impact you and your family financially, or more importantly, you and your business, if one of you couldn't be there? And it complements disability. So it pays in addition to health insurance, disability, and all of that stuff. So there's not a lot of red tape around it. It'll cover whether you get hurt on the job, off the job, whether you can work, whether you can't. So that's really not a hindrance. But if your backup plan is like that family where they depleted their 401k in the event that an unexpected medical emergency happens, it's probably also time for you to look into a supplemental plan, because the overall idea is that it's helping protect and maintain the standard of living that you're at. That way you don't have to burn through those things or sell off assets just to make it by. And for most of us, just the enthusiasts out there, your motorcycle riders, anybody who loves water sports, snow sports, but the biggest thing is just before something happens, you guys, when cancer or heart problems happen, it's so much harder to get coverage because you're already going through it. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a race before it happens, because once it does, it's just too late. So where do you go to get more information, asked everybody. And it's pretty simple. Google's a wonderful tool. You can literally type in accident, cancer plans. You can PDF so you can actually see the payouts for most companies. But ask your insurance agent. chances are they probably have a referral partner for supplemental, or they know somebody who knows somebody that can get you in touch. Or I always think the best is just asking another business professional. They probably have been approached by a supplemental company or have used them in the past or know somebody that used them who knows somebody. We all know how networking goes. So that is what I have for all of you lovely people today.